Hi and welcome. My name is Camila Serra. I'm a software engineer from the Anypoint Studio team. This video will be an overview where I will be talking about the new features introduced in Studio latest version 7.10. Let's get started. Our goal with every new Anypoint Studio release is to deliver incremental productivity and speed value to our MuleSoft developers. This means enabling them to build MuleSoft apps faster, with more powerful and more intuitive tooling. The new Studio 7.10 introduces the Notification Center to help you keep up to date with your modules version. It enables you to propagate metadata to flow and subflows with the new Metadata assistant, and to rename a flow and have that change refactored automatically to the rest of your project. Now, let's dive right in and see how these features work. Projects in Studio handle different types of assets as dependencies. One of them is Mule Modules. Like any other asset, a module has its group ID, artifact ID, and version, and any Mule project can use any available version. Until Studio 7.9, we had no mechanism to find out when a new version of an asset being used is available, unless the user manually checks each of their projects for updates. The Notification Center is a new mechanism to notify users that there are available updates for the assets they are using, centralizing all the updates for the entire workspace in a single new dialog. Every time Studio starts up, we will check for updated modules in your open projects. When new versions are available, the notification pop-up will appear in the bottom right corner of the application. You can choose to update to a latest minor version of your module or upgrade directly to a latest version available. You can also prompt Studio to check for module updates by selecting the Manage Modules button on the toolbar. The next feature we will talk about is the Custom Metadata Assistant. If you were a Studio 6 user, you may remember that subflows could see parent flow's context and all of its associated metadata without any extra manual steps. Studio 7 does no longer automatically inherit event metadata in subflows via flow ref. The reason behind this is that Studio 7 followed Mule 4 design decisions, and in this way, the declaration of metadata in reference flows has to be done manually to follow good coding practices. The new Custom Metadata Assistant helps in setting metadata contracts in a simple quick step by using DataSense metadata results. This way, metadata can be propagated to reference flows, saving time and allowing us to continue following our standards, as contracts are still defined manually but in a much faster and convenient way due to automatic creation of custom metadata. Now, we will see three main use cases to have a better understanding of the new Metadata Assistant. In my application, I have a validator which has input metadata defined. As we can see, it has an HTTP request attributes and two variables, code and airline. We would like to extract this validator to a subflow in order to reuse it somewhere else. We can see that we have a similar dialog as in previous versions. However, if we go to Metadata Preferences, we will see the metadata that's about to be propagated to a new flow. We can check and click OK to propagate the same metadata as the validator had, or in some more complex cases, we can choose not to propagate everything and just the values that are needed. As you can see, this maintains simplicity and does not require extra steps, while also allowing customization for more advanced users. Finally, we check on the new subflow created, and we will see that the input and output metadata are the same as we previously had seen. Now, you might be wondering, what happens if I want to change the flow reference I've just created to reference another flow? What will happen with the metadata in this case? Let's check this subflow, which has no metadata set previously. As you can see, both the input and the output are undefined. Now I'll go back to my flow reference and change to reference this new subflow. If I go back and check the metadata again, I will see that all the metadata was automatically propagated without the user having to configure anything. Finally, I'll show you what happens when the metadata for the flow reference changes and we want to propagate the new changes to the referenced flow. Let's say that I add a new variable before the flow reference. My new variable is called name and has a string as a value. We check the metadata in the flow reference and we are able to see our new variable name. But if we go to a reference flow, this will not be seen, as we won't override your existing metadata. However, if you would like to propagate these changes, you just have to go to a flow reference, metadata tab, and click on set metadata. This will open a dialog similar to what we previously saw when extracting to a flow. We can override directly or click on customize and choose what to propagate and what not to propagate. Once we confirm the changes, we can go again to a referenced flow, and now we will be able to see our new variable name. Last but not least, we developed the second most voted idea from the MuleSoft Ideas portal. When renaming a flow, any flow references referencing it will be automatically renamed now. The same goes for error handler references. Now, let's see this use case in action to have a better understanding. As you can see, we have a flow reference referencing the Get American Flights flow. If we go to set flow and update its name to Get American Flights Updated, then we can go back to a flow reference and see that the reference was updated correctly and that there are no errors in the project. Let this be an inspiration for submitting your ideas to the Ideas portal and voting the existing ones you like. We are constantly reviewing them. I wanted to thank you for watching this overview where you learned about the new features in Studio 710. Don't forget to leave a comment, check out the other videos and the release notes in the description. I hope to see you again soon.